Hey guys, Boomfish TCG here, back at it again with another video. And this time, I am excited to present some sauce I've been sitting on for so long. My friend, my dear friend, sent this to me eons ago, it feels. Being like, I was telling him about a Zealot deck. I even covered a Zealot deck in the past, but this is it, folks. This is the Zealot deck. Zealot Mejiro Haven. Let me cook. It's got a little bit of Tokyo in there, so technically this is a Tokyo deck. But it's got sauce. Does it win against everything? No. But there are some decks that you will find that do struggle with the tempo and the life. This deck really does heal, and it also buffs up the board quite substantially. You can get trapped. If your opponent is smart, sometimes they will allow yourself to get board locked. And especially if you're playing against a deck that plays like Not for some reason, yeah, you're still going to get kind of annoyed. They're just going to tap your guys down. Your big, beefy dudes can't really kill them. And you also can't really do all that much. Because as you can see, there aren't a lot of spells in here. In fact, there are 0. If you feel necessary to change that, I give you all the power in the world, but this is just kind of loading up on Zealot good stuff and just trying to make Elana's repair happen as much, not really fix its problems. But besides that, dude, this is so good. It's fun. It's really fun. So yeah, let's get right into it. Starting out with the 1-drops, this is the Tokyo Lady. Heals you. That's it. And then also, when you have Mejiro, which is the main guy you're playing, auto evos. Sure. Move on. We have its evo. It auto evos when you have Mejiro. So it's going to give you 2 heal triggers with Mejiro. That means it deals 2 damage. But it does it twice, right? So for 2 heal triggers. Doesn't trigger Elana's prayer twice, but you don't really care. It's the fact that it comes out, it triggers Mejiro, it gets buffed itself. It's also an evo follower, so it can swing into something. And then your Mejiro is a 5/5, which is just, all of that happening at the same time is peak. Like there's, And if you were to, instead of doing that, do a different play, when you play her later with Mejiro still on the field, that's an even crazier turn. Like nothing, you're clearing stuff, and then also Mejiro gets to hit face, say less. So very, very nice card, very nice. We have the Mejiro Palmer because we're playing the package, so who cares? But also, it is nice when this gets healed. You know, hitting for 3 with 1 mana is a power trip you've never felt in your life. So please, like, it's good, man, it's good. Another card that's very shockingly very solid in this deck is Chamber of Cleansing. So not only is this a Zealot card, but when it comes out, it gives you 2 Fox Invitation tokens. When those little guys come out, they heal. Heal's going to trigger the Elana's Prayer, heal all the heal triggers you have in the deck. So also a very nice way of doing things. And then also you have the ability to crack it and summon one of those Fox Invitation tokens if you have a Zealot follower that costs 2 or less. That's also quite nice. So it doesn't summon them, which would actually be not great in our instance, because we want to have the ability to pick when the heal trigger happens, so we can build the biggest board that we want, and then also at the end summon the Fox token, get the heal trigger, Elana's Prayer triggers, buffs the whole board. Very solid. We have Elana. Who knew that this lady existed? So it's a 2-mana 2/2, came out this set, which is basically the whole reason to play an Elana's Prayer deck now. You now have access to a card that searches Elana's Prayer, so it's a follower that does that. Huge! Because that not only means, like, you get to play, like, it searches the thing. That's the most important part. You now have, like, plenty of ways to access Elana's Prayer. But also it's a follower, so it can get buffed by Elana's Prayer. This has the extra effect where if there's an Elana's Prayer on the field, you heal 2 on your opponent's turn. Heal trigger. It's a ward, so if you summon off a Lunarian Paladin, you heal. Trigger. Like, see where I'm going here, folks? Very nice. It's the exact thing they needed to design to make Elana's Prayer even, like, remotely usable. outside of like literally just the pure Tokyo deck, and that's it. Fox of Fortune. Honestly, when I covered that like Control Haven deck list, I never really expected this much out of Fox of Fortune. But this is one hell of a solid card. 2 mana, 2/3, ward. When it comes out, it makes a Fox Invitation token, and whenever you heal, you tap and draw. Does it suck that you have to tap it, especially in this deck? Yes, because you don't really want to give your opponent any interaction with the big bodies until you choose to, after you've hit them in the face. So the fact that this naturally has to like turn itself sideways sometimes kind of sucks, but like, we're drawing a card, who cares? It's a 3/4 now, who cares? I kind of do, but that's besides the point. We have Jean. It's a Zealot card, that's it. We don't really care about the life cost in this deck because we're just going to keep healing, so every little bit of this is a very solid card. Nothing bad. Also, when you evo it, you know, it does the big... If it sticks around, which sometimes your opponent has to let you have it, and then you spend the big mana to evo it, they are going to be taking 9 damage total. You are clearing their board, and you are healing. It, with Elana's Prayer, also does the extra 1 damage, so you turn this into a 7/6, which is an insane stat to deal with. But if your opponent let you have it, they have to understand that's happening, so it's not... Your 7/6 isn't sticking around, but it can definitely win you games. So that's why we play the 1 Evo. Gotta put respect on this. It's won me a game before. A game or 2, actually. Maybe 3. Lunarian Paladin. We talked about him earlier. Yeah, Lunarian Paladin's in here. We do have a larger amount of ward cards. Not everything in our deck's a ward. In fact, like, it's just more wards than we were playing in aggro, let's say. But we don't necessarily have to hit a ward in order to get a heal trigger. So, yes, we're playing 3 Lunarian Paladin base, and we're also playing 2 of its Evo. But then we have a card that you can hit off of it that isn't a ward that also gives us a heal trigger. And most importantly, it gives us a heal trigger on our opponent's turn. Why is that important? Because Elana's Prayer triggers once per turn. So it will trigger on your turn when, let's say, you play the Lunarian Paladin, you evo it, you already have a Elana's Prayer on the field. And you grab the Servant of Repose, you play it, and on top of that, you then crack a Chamber of Cleansing, summon up a Fox Invitation token. Now you get to buff your entire board. So +1/+1 to 3 guys. Let's say you played this on turn, like the Elana's Prayer on turn 3, and this is your, like, it could be your turn 4 play that's incomplete, right? Like, you still have space on your board. Well, in that instance, man, like, you have a 3/3, a 3/4, and a 1/2 ward, and then you pass to your opponent's turn. Now Lunarian Paladin's a 4/4. This thing's a 4/5. Insane. And then your Fox Invitation token's a 2/3. That's a really big push. So that's where I'm coming from. That's where this really has some legs. Winged Gatekeeper. This card has a lot of potential, but unfortunately that kind of means that, like, this deck isn't really, like, abusing it, right? What do we have on base? It's a 2 mana 2/2. Would have loved it to be a 3/2, but that's just how it goes. Get the Fox Invitation token, so more ways of getting heal triggers at your own choosing, which is very important. And on Evo, it pings something for 2, decent. And if you ever heal, it deals 1 damage to each enemy leader. You aren't going to be doing some ridiculous combo that has been festering in my mind to be able to deal like 13 damage off of this in 1 turn. I have done that. I have. But what you do get instead is little bursts of extra chip damage while you're also buffing your board. Not bad. Not bad. I think this might be a weak link if you were trying to, like, optimize this list, because realistically, this doesn't do that much for the deck. It's just a little bonus. But, it's a fine card. Fine in my books. Seishiro. We were talking about him. He's here. So Mejiro is a very decent card on base. Whenever you heal, you ping something on your opponent's side for 2. That's not bad. Then when you Evo him, you can summon a Tokyo Follower that costs 3 or less. We only have one option for that. Or we can summon an Amulet for hand for 3 or less. Insane way of putting out Elana's Prayer. And then it is a way of getting 2 heal triggers off of the Deliverance of Punishment. You know, that's not bad. Or Deliverer of Punishment. So, yeah, every part of this card is useful to us and shouldn't be underestimated, even slightly. Like, this is the main reason to even play this deck. Even with all the other synergies I'm talking about. We've had Nana Abe in the past to play an Amulet from hand, but it certainly didn't do all this. So yeah, very solid. We have Elana's Prayer. So once per turn, when your leader gains life, each follower gains +1/+1. We've already explained this. We're not playing 3 of this because it's searchable. Not only is it searchable, but the searcher is grabbable off of Lunarian Paladin. So technically there's like 8 different ways you can get this card. It is not a Zealot card, so that's a bit of a bummer because of what we're going to cover next. Moving on, we have the Impious Bishop. I've covered it before already, but I'm a huge fan of this card. This is a very useful card for what Elana's Prayer does because it becomes, after healing with Elana's Prayer already on the field, a 3/5, which is decent. But we're going to get a little bit creative here, folks. Let's say, again, you already have Chamber of Cleansing on the field. And off of the Impious Bishop, which discounts the next Zealot card you grab off of it by 2, you were to grab Servant of Repose. Okay? This is why, yet again, this card is very important for the deck. So, you play this for 4, you grab the Servant of Repose, put it out. You have a 2/3 and a 2/4. It's going to give a heal trigger on your opponent's turn. If you have Elana's Prayer, that's even more. And then you crack the Chamber of Cleansing, push up the Fox Invitation token, heal trigger. So now, not only is your board buffed, you have a 3/4, you have a 3/5, and now you have a 1/2 ward. Ward it, just in case you need that. Heal trigger, triggers the Impious Bishop, deal 4 damage, pass to your opponent's turn. The Servant of Repose triggers, heal again, deal 4 damage, and buff your board. Now you have a 4/5 and a 4/6 and a 2/3 ward. For 4 mana? If that's your follow-up turn to the Mejiro turn, that could genuinely, like, is it guaranteed to end the game? No. But clearing 2 bodies, buffing your board like that, and just having it standing at your opponent is definitely the kind of play that can swing something to your favor. And another part of this deck that's really important is your board is always so distracting that I literally don't think they ever have time to plan for you going second and you having the Mejiro package in your back pocket. Because they're so distracted by your turn 4 play, your turn 5 play, that the minute turn 6 comes around, they're kind of cooked. Moving on to it, we have the Mejiro Romanu. It's already good in the Mejiro package by default because 5 mana Banish is fine. 5 mana Storm is fine. 5 mana Heal 2 Draw is decent. Certainly not the one that we really want to pick out of any of that. But all good. 6 mana, either by like evoing and playing the 6-drop, or you play this plus the 1-drop is fine as well. Imagining we have Elana's Prayer, they don't have that much board presence. Well, that heal trigger at the bottom all of a sudden matters a lot more. That becomes, it goes from 5 + 2 to 9 damage. And that also matters when we play like the Mejiro card in general, right? If we feed the 6-drop, the carrot, it's going to be getting those 2 bodies out anyways. So that potential 9 damage comes up in 2 different instances. And going from 7 to 9, it's like, it's not hard to notice how powerful that is, but if you've ever played Mejiro as the deck, like if you personally play the deck, you know that sometimes you are just a little bit short. So that extra stats is incredible. Making this a 5/5 is incredible. Now, your deck doesn't have that much Storm, right? So, like, if that isn't an ender for you, we could be sitting around struggling a little bit. Because if you take a look at the list, it is just kind of a bunch of things that benefit off of Elana's Prayer, and that's it. Previously, when it comes to Elana's Prayer, that's the main criticism, is like, the deck isn't that incredible without it. And you could take a look at this list and say, maybe that's the case as well. But I think it has legs. There's a little bit of flexibility here where, like, some things, you know, it'd be nice to change a few things, but I'll leave that in your hands. I'm decently fine with this deck. I don't want to blow its smoke too much. You know, like, I think this is probably a pretty fun 3 out of 5. In my heart, it's 4 out of 5. And if you really put your time into figuring out, like, if this is worth it, if this deck has good matchups in a day and draws decent enough, it could run up a tournament. But the hard part is when this thing runs into a bad matchup. Anything that goes faster than it puts on a little bit too much pressure. This deck goes neutral a lot. There isn't really like a +1 factor outside of your token generation. So if your opponent forces you to discard a little bit, that's also tough. Also the fact that, like, you don't deal that much damage, so maybe they heal a little bit more than you're expecting. That can be tough. But it's there. My heart, this is a 4 out of 5. So maybe that's what I'll give it. But, you know, I'm not too confident in it. So I will give it 3 out of 5 Boomfish. Or 3 out of 5. That's 3 out of 5 Boomfish. But I encourage anyone who's trying the Tokyo Haven deck to try this, because this genuinely could be a very solid deck. I just don't want to give you false hopes and you try and get everything. But I love it. This is exactly what I wanted out of a Zealot deck. And it's really solid. It's a really solid 3 out of 5. And on a good day, it's a 4 out of 5. And on the best day, it could get a top 8. I don't think it could ever win anything because it's too straightforward. So, thank you for tuning in. Catch you next time. Peace.
Hooray! Hooray for you!